An I-fave, Congressman Peter King from New York. Good morning, Congressman King.
Good morning, Don.
How are you?
Not well. First of all, I don't like getting up this early, and you've kept me waiting almost 10 minutes. I listened to Bernard on the phone, who's a nice guy, but my time is valuable. And but anyway, go ahead. You're off on the wrong foot with me already.
You're a congressman. You're not a senator. Calm down, okay?
Oh, I don't know. This may be the last time I appear in the show. It's up to you to prove yourself. So let's go.
You could be in the Senate. You could be in the Senate once they drop the charges.
Well, that could be a long way off.
So there's a poll out now. 49 or 50% of the people think that the passage of this health care bill was not such a bad idea. So how's that going to impact on y'all in November when you were planning on taking back the House and Senate?
Yeah, there's several polls. The Bloomberg poll, I think, still is opposed to it 50 to 43. Now, I think the polls over the next few days will just be the euphoria of a bill being passed, the excitement, the president signing it, Joe Biden introducing the president, all those things, bring the numbers up. But I think, first of all, it is unpopular with the American people, but Republicans, we have to not just pile on it, not just say we're going to repeal it, not just tear it apart. We have to, I think, be constructive, and we also have to avoid, demonizing. Republicans tried that with Bill Clinton in 1998 during the whole Monica Lewinsky affair, and we ended up losing seats. Now, I think we're going to win a lot of seats in November. The American people are against the Obama administration on this. They're against the health care bill. We have to make sure we articulate it in an intelligent way, show why it's going to be damaging to the country. I think it will be very damaging.
Is anything, half of the people who say they're happy with it, do you think they understand what's in it, or is there anything good in it in your view?
Oh, sure, there's some good things, or things that we supported. To take care of pre-existing conditions, to me, is important. Also, to help those who truly need it, that is also important. But the fact is, this is going to be an overall government-run plan. And that's what we have to show, that we could have achieved taking care of pre-existing conditions. We could have ensured that those who really needed the coverage would get it. But, they talk about 30, 35 million people. It used to be 47 million, then they dropped it to 30. There's probably 10 to 15 million people who genuinely cannot afford health insurance. There's others who are between jobs. There's others, younger people who just take the chance of not getting it. And so 10, 15 million, that's about 3 to 5% of the population, because I think 85% of the population does have health insurance. And what we're doing is we're setting up, I believe, a European-type social democracy here, which doesn't work in Europe, it doesn't work in Canada as far as health care, and it's not going to work here. We should have worked within the system we have, and that's the point we have to make. This is part of an overall agenda by the Obama administration to move the country in a much more liberal direction, and that's an honest debate we can have, and I think we're going to win that debate.
19 till the hour. That's a reasonable approach, by the way, Congressman King, as I'm stunned that you would make. Anyway, 19 till the hour.
It happens like once a year I come up with something reasonably intelligent.
19 till the hour here on the Imus program.
Maybe it's just by comparison with you I sound reasonable. You never know.
Well, I don't think insulting me is the way to go, do you?
Well, I don't know. Listen, I'm still early, so, okay.
Bagging on the old cowboy with cancer? Where did that come from? That make you feel good, Congressman?
I was hoping, when you first invited me on the show, you may not be there by the time
You son of a bitch. You are unbelievable. It's 18 till the hour. I missed the morning program. Bernie had a great line. I said the Canadians are all upset because now they can't come over here and get good health care anymore.
Well,
so.
Actually, that's curious. The Canadian Prime Minister had his brother come here. You have these foreign officials coming to the United States where they really need health care. They leave their own socialized medicine systems, single-payer systems, and they come to the U.S., which does have, whatever imperfections we have, we do have the best health care system in the world. And I'm seriously afraid that's going to be brought down.
Well, you know what's going on there in the House, I would. Well, of course you do. Was Bart Stupak I saw Megyn Kelly interview him, and it doesn't seem like the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Yeah, I'm serious about it. I was very disappointed in Bart Stupak. I am pro-life myself. I can understand people have different opinions, but Bart Stupak was the one who made abortion the number one issue on this. He was the one who said that the bill was going to allow abortions. It was going to change law that we've had for 30 years. And he was the one who made this the moral issue of the whole debate. And then at the end, no matter how Bart tries to describe it, he caved in. He got supposedly an executive order from the president, which doesn't mean anything. Because, first of all, a statute supersedes an executive order anyway, and also an executive order can be withdrawn by any president. So why he brought it to this level, why he went so far out on a limb, then just to surrender is beyond me.
My question is, he was bribed, wasn't he?
No, I don't know what it was. It could have been pressure. It could have been he got himself further out than he could have held. It could have been just the tremendous pressure. I mean, you would have enjoyed this, being on the House floor last week, seeing Nancy Pelosi and the others chasing around that 20 or 30 Democrats that they were trying to get their votes. It was like they were just coming down on people and standing over them, and the kind of intense pressure. The phone calls were coming. Bart Stupak was saying his wife was being threatened at home. All of that, whatever the reasons are, though, Bart Stupak cannot explain this away. He surrendered, and he did it, and it was a war that he started, and then he basically unilaterally surrendered.
He was either bribed or he's a moron.
Well, sometimes the pressure gets you. You go as far as you can. Listen, I'm not going to. There's very few people I'm willing to attack personally. You're one of them, but I'm not going to. There's not that many others.
Have you ever, in your career, voted for something that you weren't for because they agreed to give you something you wanted for your district?
Actually, the closest to that was after September 11th, when we were really trying to make sure we were getting as much assistance that New York needed. And I remember once voting for a farm bill that I really didn't think that was that great. But if I had voted against it, I was afraid we would have lost a lot of support that we needed to basically help rebuild New York. But for the most part, no. I mean, occasionally there's
that's why we hate you. That's why we hate all you guys, all you people, because you're going to Washington voting for stuff you don't believe in.
Yeah, but you have to.
I mean, it's outrage. I don't mean to be squeaking, but I mean it's crazy.
No, actually, it's often a legitimate compromise. To me, if you have a city that's just been devastated by an attack, and the important thing was to get the money in, get the help in, get the assistance, and I wanted to make sure we kept getting that. So, no, to me, it would have been immoral not to do that, because for me to be able to say, okay, listen, I voted the right way on this farm bill, but meanwhile, New York is not going to be rebuilt. People are going to be suffering. So those are value judgments you have to make. But to actually vote for something that you seriously disagree with, no, I haven't done that.
I'm talking with Congressman Peter King here in the Imus Morning Program, who's gone out of his way to be mean to me for whatever reason. President met with Netanyahu yesterday. How'd that go, do you know?
I don't think it went that well. The president has had his picture taken with Chavez and with... I
don't understand. See, the screen's kind of screwed up. Has Petraeus lost his mind? Has Petraeus lost his mind about what?
Trying to keep photographers and reporters as far away from this meeting as possible. Listen, the president has basically gone out of his way to keep this controversy with Israel going. Whatever Israel did in the beginning with the settlements, even though it was within Jerusalem, that was handled by Joe Biden. The issue was pretty much over. And then the president and the Secretary of State decided to restart that fight the next week. And considering Israel is our closest ally in the Middle East, I thought it was wrong.
About the comments of General Petraeus saying that Israel's the root cause of terrorism against this country because of our alliance with them.
Well, there's no doubt.
Has he lost his mind?
What's that?
Has he lost his mind?
Yeah, I actually am a big supporter of General Petraeus. But in that quote, all I can say is that obviously Israel is the enemy of Islamic terrorists. By us supporting Israel, that makes us the enemy of Islamic terrorists. But the fact is, if Israel didn't exist at all, they would still, the Islamic terrorists would still hate us. And so I think what General Petraeus was saying was we should try to resolve that issue to the extent we can, and that would remove one of the impediments. But the fact is, if Israel tomorrow gave the Islamic terrorists or gave the Palestinians everything they wanted, Bin Laden would still be coming after us, Al-Qaeda would still be coming after us. So I think that the way General Petraeus said it, I would have said it differently. I do think it is important to try and say to help resolve the issue, but we have to remember Israel is our strongest ally. Israel is making concession after concession, and no matter what concessions they make, the Palestinians refuse to accept them. They continue to attack Israel. And Al-Qaeda is going to hate us whether or not Israel is there. In fact, Bin Laden barely even mentioned Israel until after September 11th. That was never a major impetus for him. They hate Israel for what it stands for, and they hate us because of what we stand for.
Thank you, Congressman King. I'm sorry we got you on late. I'm sorry I swore at you, but thank you for being on the program.
Well,